So until this part is all good, bring the Agile Scrum here so you guys will know the process. So you have a backlog, all the user story. You have the planning, means whatever we decided to complete next 2 weeks, we are good. We are working in the sprint, we are good. And we are going to build we are going to fix the chat application issues on the TS for you. Let's say remove the reply from the read only, right? That's the one as an example. So we have to develop the code, and the developer actually has the environment to test it out on his local machine, either the Android or the iOS. How? Because he can use the software-based device. Okay, it's called the software-based device to test it out. Not all the testing can be done. Once he complete the testing, of course, he built it, then he tested out software device. Then he's done here. This is nothing with him anymore. He actually pushed the code in the GitHub. Okay, this is now you actually deploy the whole environment. Very important, this part. QA environment, development environment where only developer works. QA environment, only the quality assurance test. Staging environment where the most of the time the business operation team become familiar with the new functionality, and finally production. Production is called the production. There is no name. All other environment we call the lower environment. Lower means they are not, their data is garbage. Data is not anything important. Okay. So when you call it, so of course, this code need to be, understand this part very carefully. Chat need to be removed, right? It need to backend involve here. So you see this. So one area is backend code need to be updated. There's nothing with the front end yet, nothing with the mobile app yet. So once the backend code is updated, backend code is on the GitHub. Now the CloudOps engineer has to deploy the code on the development environment, test environment, and the staging environment. And the quality assurance need to test this API. See, we're not even mobile app yet. They need to test it, this API, make sure this logic, the user should not be able to see the read-only anymore. So once this is all working fine, now the front end gets involved. Front end can be the same functionality. We need the website, we need the desktop app, we need the mobile app. So 3 developers involved now. Mobile app developer, say an example, mobile app developer, they actually consuming the same API. We'll see, they're consuming the same API that backend developer wrote. And endpoint is not the whole URL. We'll see. You saw the last week code, there was no URL. There was only the endpoint of the code. Remember that. This is the technical part. In the code base, we do not add any server information. We only add the endpoint. So now you can ask one question, why do we add the server information then? There is a special file, it's called the environment file. That's exclusively CloudOps job. They maintain all the URL on the environment file. All the secret key, API key. Why? You are separating code base from the environment because you have only the 4 environment. So 4 URL, simple. But the same code, same endpoint, hear me out, very careful. Same code, the endpoint goes to all environment, development, test, staging, and production. How they are different? Because their environment file is different. In the test environment file, test server URL. In the staging environment file, staging server URL. Hey, CloudOps, hear me out, because this kind of question actually, this is your code job. If you do not understand it, you will be doing the shit for no reason. You will not understand anything. This is the core part. Hear out very carefully. Same code base you are deploying, but you are differentiating them by the environment file. Each of the environment file holding each of the environment entity. Entity means URL, API, and all of this you will see. Don't worry about it. But each time you are bringing the new code, you are actually in the code base, you are including the endpoint in the code base, and your environment file is actually holding the URL. That's the server information. Okay. Once they are done here, right? So the mobile app can be also the 4 version. Now you say, oh my gosh, that's a disaster, right? So you are in the mobile app, there can be the 4 version. Of course, you do not want to publish anything because it's a bug. It will be a disaster for the company. So mobile app, mostly many companies, because that's the mobile app is actually the mobile app tester. It is actually the role. It is not a joke. It is the role. It is important. So mobile app, many companies, they manage. I observed 3 environment because too much to manage. So for the iOS, it's a different approach. For the Android, it's a different approach because 2 companies separating. So let's go one by one. For the iOS, you cannot pre-production become a quality assurance or the product owner or the cloud ops engineer or the software engineer. You want to test the build, you have to download the TestFlight. For the iOS, you have to download the TestFlight, and your email, means your iOS email, have to be added in the TestFlight. Then on a TestFlight, you will see the build is ready for you. App is ready for you. You install it. Now you can use the app. You are in the lower environment. You are in the lower environment. You complete your testing. You find your bug. You create your bug. You retest. The development will happen again, and then you have to recircle the same thing again. This is the iOS version. It's a TestFlight. Become any development team member, they use the TestFlight, and that's for the worldwide. There is no TS for you. There is no FBI. There is no White House. That's their process you have to follow. Now the Google version. After the code is deployed, and the code is deployed means our environment. Now understand the process. We deploy our environment, because all I'm saying word publish is very risky here to say. Our DevOps engineer deploy the code in our server, our cloud server. And then our app developer implemented this all endpoint, and we have the environment file to segregate all of this. Now, what is the process? Process is both store. You have to create your company ID. I'm giving you guys, telling you so you guys can start do the business someday. You have to create your own company ID, and the Apple and the Google, they will review everything else. They can approve you, they can deny you. If they approve you, of course, you have to pay the money to maintain the store, yearly money. After that part is done, and then you developer need to have the access as well. They have a different role base in both store. Developer, marketing, manager, admin, all of this. Anyway, you developer have the access, and you have to create some other special things to follow the app, both store process. And then once you build your code, you push the code. You push the code, also the different. For the App Store, different process. Play Store, different process. But that's the mobile app developer work. Do not worry about this. After you build it, then actually, after you build for the App Store, it's a TestFlight. And you cannot actually do anything else. You have to test like this. For the Play Store, Google Store is different. It's a good thing, actually. Google gives you the flexibility. Google gives you one flexibility. It's called the side loading that the Apple doesn't do. Apple has no control. Apple is very strict. What the side loading is, once a developer, mobile app developer build, he can give you the .apk, called the .apk. And actually, you can use the simulated version. Simulated version means software-based simulation. You can use the software-based simulation, or your Android device, you can enable the developer mode to get this new app, you can test it. That's the exactly way. And also you can use the test engineer or the cloud ops engineer, means the development team member in the Google Play Store. And then they can test it. They have their internal process of the beta testing, open testing, the pre-testing, prod testing, all this good thing they have. But, so now, question will be, if your backend code is not deployed, do you think the mobile app will work? Now you guys are the expert. Finally summarize the whole process. So you see, if your backend is not deployed, your mobile app will not work. Now, when the come to publish part, that's the important part. That's actually the victory part. Once you complete the testing, you as a business owner or the you representative, they actually request the publish to the App Store and the Play Store. Google and the Apple, they have the internal compliance team, they have the quality assurance team. They will look at your metadata, means they will look at your code base in the app, and they will tell you, that's the problem, this is the problem, a screenshot is not here, this is low, this is high, remove all of this. So you have to work with them, make sure you follow their standard. Once a back and forth you're done, then they will approve your app. Now it is live. Live means actually the App Store. Live means actually the Play Store. So until then, you cannot go. You shouldn't go. The no company goes because they follow the same. Publish means the final version. The Play Store, the TestFlight is not published. It's like the internal. Again, it's a lower environment. And the side loading Android version, that's not the lower, as also the lower environment. Only the publish is finally your user will be seeing. Good. Now that's the process. How about like we do one of the thing CloudOps does, like we deploy everyday code, right? You guys do not have any problem, right? You guys have no problem, like we are developing and deploying, right? It's a fully automated. They can do the CI/CD there as well. CI/CD means the moment you write the code, you put the code in the GitHub, you don't need to touch anything. Everything, all the magic happens behind the scene. I mean, the code will be built, code will be deployed, and the QA or the business is ready to see the functionality. The whole process you can do manually, it's time consuming. You can do automated. Automation is called the CI/CD. Mobile app has that option too. Mobile app development and the publish, that option too is called the over the air, OTA. Okay, you will be hearing this is a very important feature in the vehicle industry. They have a two major feature. One is OTA, means all the vehicle app, all the app need to be updated automatically. That's the one app. And they have another major feature, is called the FOTA. Firmware means the hardware also has the software. Those software need to be also updated automatically. They have another feature called the FOTA. Because why? Because now the manual process, you see this, your 10 million vehicle on the street, and you have an issue on the app, you have an issue on the ECU. You can do technically, you can like make the stupid schedule to take the 10 million vehicle into the dealership. People will say, shit, your vehicle, I want to sell this shit. I don't need this, right? I don't have time. Vehicle has 8 hours, dealer has 8 hours to do this shit, right? So the technology solve the problem. It's called the OTA and the FOTA. OTA means over there update. FOTA means firmware over there update. What it means in generic word means nobody knows what the hell is going on. Everything is happening behind the scene. That means the user doesn't know what is going on. User see, hey, do you want to update this? Yes, it is done itself. Hey, do you want to update this app? Yes, done. Even you do not need to open the mobile app, is already updated behind the scene. So we are going to do the OTA on the mobile app, you guys will see. Until then, you guys will not understand anything. I hold the mobile app development for this session. All the bug we hold for this session. So there is two options. we can involve you guys. That's what we'll be doing. We can involve you guys through the TestFlight and the side loading option. That's what we do. We do not need, you guys do not need to worry about it. And then we'll be actually doing the OTA update. And since we are using the React Native, since we are using what is called the React Native, they have one company, special company provide this. They provide the OTA. We use the service, and automatically you guys will see. So simply I will type, hey, app is updated. That's it. You did not download the app. You did not do anything else. App is behind the scene updated. You will just see the app is version is changed. Now I use the word version. Remember, this is we need the 30 minutes to discuss about that. That's very important. So you see the update is done, and you guys will see. Now, if any bug happen, again, if the bug happen after the publish, you do the same shit again. You have to do to go through their app, you have to do the same option. This part is important. Listen carefully. If we do the same approach, you have to follow that same thing. You have to go through the approval and download it. Through the OTA, you do not need to do that. But there is a problem here. If we do the OTA, there is two things happening here. My App Store version is old. My OTA version is always updated. What will be the problem? My App Store version has a gigantic amount of the bug already. User have to download. Of course, in 2 minutes, they will get the new update right away because the OTA will be kick up. But initial download will be old because my App Store version is 5.5. In the meantime, under the hood, my OTA is going on 6.10. And that's the reason. In some point, what we do, we go a major release. What we say, okay, let's start small release. I bring the word release now. Release, publish, they are the different thing, each environment. We do the small release, everything is working fine. In some point, we say, let's go with the Big Bang Theory, mean the big release. In this release, we actually write gigantic release note. On this feature, this is fixed. On this feature, this is updated. On this feature, this is fixed. The new feature is updated. This has been deleted. You see this? If each of the app you go, either Facebook app or any app, you see they actually update details with the release. They update all the details, but behind the scene, we actually, as a development team member, if you are part of the team, you tested everything details. DevOps engineer deployed all the code, and tester has been tested. Developer has developed everything. The circle has been done. You see the 5 line of code, release is done, all this bug has been fixed. But behind the thing doesn't work like this. Things behind the scene, a lot of work happens. So there is, if you do the OTA, and things are happening under the hood, if you want to go to the publish, then you have to go through their process. Means you have to publish it, and you have to wait for their approval, and you have to work with them. If something is not working, you have to fix them. That's the process. Now the version, how that versioning works. So I think you guys from today very carefully, because versioning is very important in the software development industry. Versioning is critical. But if you understand easily, then your success is good. So that's the reason creating the bug, creating the user story will save your life. Okay, to understand all of this complex journey. So if you use the app today, you do not see the new functionality. That's the version is today. So let's go. If you want to see the version is 6.10. Okay, so version is 6.9.10. Okay, so if we add the new feature, if we fix the bug, if we do improve other activities in the App Store, I cannot use the same versioning anymore. Exactly, I need to go forward. Even I cannot go back. Exactly. See, this versioning is important. So now you see how the versioning works. This is the same way in every industry. Vehicle, mobile, desktop, web, everywhere. Even many companies, they prefer to use the versioning in the web portal as well, so that they can remember, because the more complex the environment is, the more process involved to separate the things properly. So this versioning, you always move forward. You cannot go behind. Each company, they select their own versioning to follow their internal process. There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. That's it. If somebody say the core answer is versioning has to go forward, it cannot go behind. API has the versioning too. If you guys saw that there is API V1, means version 1. There is a V2, that's version 2. So you see this? Things start from actually the back end. Thing doesn't start from the front end. So once a company building all this logic is all the old, and the DevOps engineer deploy everything with the version 1, but the major things are coming. Now they have been said, you cannot use the version 1 anymore. Now start differentiating, say version 2. So you start your deployment start with the V2. Because so V2 means all company knows, okay, API is different. Version 1 is using by this team. June 30, version 1 will be collapsed. The DevOps engineer set up the new environment, version 2. Version 2 will be start using by the user from the July 1st. So see this? So you are separating things out. The same way, your mobile app user, desktop app user will be using the API V version 1, the API, and the July they will not be able to use anymore. So they are all correlated. Versioning happening in the code repository, versioning happening in the API, versioning happening in the mobile, versioning happening in the desktop. The whole purpose of the versioning is you have to go forward, you cannot come behind. Another is you are always either fixing the bug, adding the new functionality, or existing, or adding the new features, or improving functionality of the existing like the button or the logic. That's it, all you do. That's how the versioning works. So now you can say, what happened if the version is broken? What happened then? If I push something in the production and we found out it's actually broke because the QA tested, they did not find the issues. It happened, right? It can happen because nothing is perfect. Nothing will be perfect. What they do? We use a word, pull back. We call the word pull back. Pull back means it is already there. Bring it back to the new lower environment. Why? Because the bleeding already started. It's bad. Once we push this code, the user is badly impacted. The $30 million is gone in 3 days. Think about the banking application, right? Simple logic can cause one day, Bank of America, 1 hour can cause $30-40 million, can cause $100 million. But you have to stop the bleeding, right? So we use the word pull back the code. Of course, I pull the new code. It means the old code is already there. So old functionality is already there. So that we stop the bleeding. So now we have to do the analysis. It's called the root cause analysis. What happened now? What has been done? We do not do any point fingering to anyone else. I'm sorry, I tested it, but it is actually, I was unable to find out the bug. That's it. But nobody actually, the reason is all has to come together, identify the issues, where the issues is, everybody come together, identify what has caused, how many users got affected, database team involved, cloud ops involved, quality involved, business operation involved, IT operation involved, because $30 million is gone. Nobody cared the money at this moment. What did the user impact happen? So everybody come together, identify the issues, analyze the issues, what happened, and identify the user base, when that happened, and the timing. And this is the whole thing is called the root cause analysis. And you are part of it. The whole development team part of it. Based on the understanding, then we go back, we fixing it, deploy it, test it, go back to the production again. That's how it works. Think about this. If you put all the logic on the mobile app, business logic, Now you need to call up the client, come to my door, I will fix it. You will say, you have a 10 million, the mobile app user, you will say, come to my office, I will fix it. You do not do this. Why? Because you control everything from the back end. You fix the back end, your mobile app is fixed right away. Through how? Through the OTA, over the air update. And that's the reason technology team is so powerful. That's the reason they use all these tools to do all this work. And so we covered the versioning, we covered the publishing, and we covered that there is two process. Mobile app we call the publish, because the same thing you publish, because it's not your app store, it is not your Play Store. That's the reason you publish to them, you release to them. On you do not need any permission. You need the internal permission. You have your internal process, right? With the company's internal process to deploy, but you do not need to worry about the Google permission or the Apple permission to publish it. That's the reason we specifically use the word publish, because we are publishing to somebody's interface, because Google owned by the Google, Apple owned by the Play Store, right? Apple owned the Play Store. So we are publishing our code base, our app on their interface. That's what we call the word publish. Okay, so now you guys can ask the question.